Allie.
Hello and happy Thursday afternoon. It's the Automation Ladies. All three of us. Hi.
With ourselves.
Yeah, with
Happy
ourselves.
Thursday.
We're not sure if our guest is just going to be here a little bit late or if she may be having technical difficulties. But as of right now, it's the three of us. So let me make sure I keep an eye on the comments in case anybody here is joining us live. If you're joining us, please go ahead and you're now the guest of the episode if you'd like to be. Go ahead and tell us hi, where you're at, and what's going on with you today. Otherwise, I'll ask Allie and Courtney to give us a little update as well. Hi, Allie.
I got this camo shirt today.
Sweet. It matches your hat.
At Dick's Sporting Goods. And then no, actually we was like Sportsman something. And then we went to the Dick's Sporting Goods and there was like no camo anything. But I think it's because it's a college town.
Okay, and where?
It was weird.
Town are you in right now?
Lynchburg, Virginia. And the biggest college is Liberty University, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay, Dr. Nicole, I sent you the link to join. You have to join through StreamYard. If you check your LinkedIn messages, there should be a link right there for you to join us here in the studio. All right, we are having a guest today.
Yay.
Gotta figure out a couple details here. So Allie was in Houston all week with me, or not all week, but a couple days. And I'm just getting over being sick. I don't know if my voice sounds any different. Right
Sounds
now,
good.
I'm going to try not to cough. But yeah, my kids have been really sick. They've been homesick since last week. So, and then the holidays are coming up. So we had a little bit of a weird week, and I had to stick Allie in a hotel. But we had some great visits this week. We got to visit the Eaton Experience, the Power.
That was amazing.
What exactly they called it, the Experience Center here in Houston. They have one in Pittsburgh as well. And then went for our second visit to Anderson Hauser and Vector Automation, where they have a PDU. What is it? The Process
Training Unit, I think.
Oh, PTU. Yeah.
I think it's PTU. I don't know. I think
PTU.
that's what it is.
I think you're right. PTU, a big process training unit there, which is super cool. And then we also got to visit Beckhoff's offices. And because we are
which are also really nice. Like everyone's stuff was really, really nice.
Really, really nice. Yeah, we're scouting locations for OT SCADACon next year. And just a reminder that tickets will go up for price-wise will go up for OT SCADACon next year. So if you
have a few more days for $1,000 ticket
to get it half off, because we know you're all getting those budgets in 2025, so then you can pay full price, right? All right, we have our guest here. Welcome to Automation Ladies. Finally.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to have you on.
Glad you made it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us finally. Allie, I didn't mean to hide you there. Behind the logo. Let me see.
It's okay.
Put myself up there. I believe that you guys initially connected and you invited her on the show, Allie. Do you want to go ahead and for me?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just she's very interested in pretty much all of the stuff that we do, especially Kids PLC Kids. And she teaches. I'll let her talk about it, but like she has some girls that she helps kind of mentor in STEM. And she has a doctorate in I think management. But yeah, I think we'll ask you the question that we ask everyone, which is how did you get here? Maybe it froze. Is it frozen? Oh no, I see her moving. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and tell us tell us your story in as much detail as you like. We always like to hear how the heck people got to be in this industry and doing what they're doing.
Well, I've got about 25 years in manufacturing. I've done yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I bet you we have a lag.
Oh,
Crazy
yeah.
lag.
Okay. Well, I've got about 25 years experience. I think I got some duplicate here. Yeah. You guys still
Maybe
hear me?
not the best signal. We can hear you, but it sounds like you're lagging, or like you keep hearing our lag.
Yep. I don't know how to. Let's see.
I won't talk anymore. Just go for it. Just start talking. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, I've got about 25 years experience in manufacturing, and I've done everything from motorhomes to semiconductors to now I'm doing metal injection molding, and I manage a team of about 8 people, and I've got 2 people that do automation with me on my team. So
And what is your educational background?
my educational background is actually in manufacturing and mechanical engineering technologies.
Okay.
That's where I got my start.
And why did you want to do that at all?
Well, I wanted to do that because when I was little, I really liked taking things apart and playing with Legos and drawing with AutoCAD. And my dad saw those interests and gave me the opportunities to express those interests. And I really got interested in that stuff.
And so you're working with is it your nieces, or who are the young women that you're working with that are super young in STEM?
Yep.
And then what are you showing them? Can you talk about a little bit like why you're showing them that and what you're showing them?
Hold on, I'm having trouble hearing because I'm getting my stream over it. Yeah, I'm working with my nieces and a few of their friends.
How old are they?
Yeah, I'm showing them things like PLCs and how to do simple little turn the lights on in their house, turn lights on, just little, LEDs, and make conveyors work. We got some motors and a conveyor to be built.
Do they like that? Are they
And
enjoying that? We could do that
we
with
do, we make alarms for all their rooms. So there's somebody tries to come in, they get an alarm that goes off. Just the various little things we've done that have interested them.
How old are they?
Oh yeah, they really enjoy that. They actually call it the Smart Girls Fun Club.
I like that.
Yeah,
How old are they?
pretty cool.
How old are they?
The kids range from 10 to 14.
Oh, wow. Nice.
That's
Yeah,
excellent.
I'm trying to grow people for me to hire eventually, hopefully.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because these people in this industry are so hard to come by. I'm really lucky to have 2 good controls and automation people working for me now, but I spent a long time trying to find somebody that could pass my simple interview test to hire. So I thought, why not start young and get the people, interested.
What are you doing for your that test that you give people?
I'm sorry,
What's that interview test like that you give?
I have got myself in the background coming over. I'm trying to figure this out. Hold on.
Do you have, I think if you have LinkedIn open at all, you should close that completely.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Oh, that might help.
Okay, I think
Yeah, we want to have only the stream tab open.
the interview test I give, it's a pretty simple test. And one of my controls and automation techs actually says I'm underselling people, but I got 3 things I asked them to do. One is I asked them to measure a bolt and tell me the dimensions of the bolt. The next one is I have 3 motor contactors. So I asked them to tell me, what are the motor contactors, identify them, and then I give them a DMM and tell me which one's good, which one's bad, or if they're all good, all bad, what was the condition of them. And then the last one is I have come on. I've got another part I ask them to identify and tell me how it works. The condition is I got 2 of them that are good and 1 that's sorted in 3 ways. And I want to see if they can figure out all 3 ways that it's actually sorted.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that a
Usually
passing
people-
if you only find one way? Do you have to pass with all 3 ways?
Well, if they can find 1 or 2 of the ways, I give them credit. If they find all 3, I give them extra credit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And how have people done in general on the test? Are people like failing the test? It sounds like they're not doing that great if
Okay, hold on here.
if it's so hard to come by, these people.
I struggled
one of
a
the
little bit earlier
PLC
with
kids is going to the 10 and the 14-year-old.
Okay. Yeah, that's what that's for.
Nice.
Well, and for her because she's going to use it with a lot of more people, I think, even though now this is stuck. But yeah, she started like showing her, like having an actual club with these girls that she knows that are young, and kind of figured out like that what everyone's figured out is that like our only path forward is training the future, or like cross training or bringing people from other industries and teaching them what we know how to do. Because actually I just saw a really cool what was her name, but like some statistic that was like the boomers are by 2030 like millions are retiring, and they're selling their businesses.
Oh,
We're
that
back.
part.
Yeah, because in most cases, like their kids don't
think
want
I'm
to take
back.
over their businesses, or they don't have the skills or interest.
Yeah, I think we're back. We were talking about how we all have the same mentality that we have to train, the future or cross train, or because we don't have the volume of people we need.
Where are you finding your qualified people right now? Like fresh out of college, or is it more like trade?
How am I finding my people? Well,
Yeah.
mostly I'm getting them through interviews from headhunter companies that are sending me resumes, or what my HR department digs up for me through applications that they're able to get.
What else is in your area manufacturing wise? Is there a lot of manufacturing where you are?
There's, a large contingency of semiconductor manufacturing in my area. So a lot of people come from that background, and other support industries that support that. Then, like, we have semiconductor equipment manufacturers in the area. And there's a fair amount of machining and automation, machining like that way.
Do your engineers, I mean, maybe you can't say, but do your engineers need to know how to use Allen Bradley products?
Okay. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me see if I can get my headphones and make this work.
Technology.
In the meanwhile, yeah, it's just automation style, right? Like automation ladies style.
Oh yeah.
And automation style. You're like, wait, hold on, let me get a different thing.
Well, because like we're the ones who have to actually put the stuff in to begin with, and
Yeah.
I try to explain to people like how terrifying that is because everyone kind of just is like, we know we have all these safety features on things, but you have to actually install it and get it there for it to be
Yeah.
safe. So it's actually very unsafe
Right.
until someone makes it safe.
It's
And if
almost
you like
unsafe
just
to
assume that it
just-
comes out of the box
Yeah.
safe, like that's insane.
Yeah.
That's not how reality works. I look like I'm going hunting.
Better?
Can you hear us now? Or can you still hear us?
Can you still hear us?
Okay, I think I got this figured out.
Everybody at PC.
Yeah, I can hear you now much better. Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Let's talk about workforce development and like
Yes, I
what
can
it's,
still
you
hear
know.
you.
Is there still a lag for you?
I think there's a lag, so I think we just have to ask her a question and then don't say anything until she answers that question.
Fair.
Like that's how we're gonna do this. So just like put a question out there and then she'll hear the next one I said.
Okay. Is that better? I'm in the settings.
We can hear you just great.
Oh, I can hear you just
Yeah,
great
we
now.
can
Too.
hear you.
I don't have the echo.
Oh, perfect.
Okay,
So
let's
maybe
do
we
this.
solved it.
Yes.
Can we talk
For the
about the workforce development?
Yeah. Basically, the people that I see coming into the industry, I get a lot of people that think they know what automation is, but really don't know what it takes to go from point A to point B to an actual working factory. And it's really amazing to me the amount of people that come in and go, oh, I've seen PLC code before. I've watched robots on YouTube. I think I'm qualified.
Okay.
I've seriously had several of those people in interviews before.
Is that like a Gen Z thing? No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing or what it is, but people just don't understand automation really.
When you do get people that
I mean,
understand
unless
it, where
you've
do you
been
find
through
them?
all of it.
When I do get people, what was that?
Well, I was saying when you do get someone
Go
that
ahead.
understands it, what do you usually find their background is? Like, is it more like I'm curious which side we need to go and chew on more? And my guess is going to be universities, but like, do you find them fresh out of college, seem to know what they're doing, or they're clueless, or is it more the trades and the hands-on kids that kind of figure
Actually,
stuff out?
the applications I get are more the hands-on trades people.
Yeah.
And they have experience in factories or experience with PLCs and control systems on equipment, and they want to branch into getting into that work themselves more.
That's amazing. I actually love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of new, fresh out of school, college applicants. I do have one guy that works for me, though, that did come from, he only had one job between me and graduating college. So he was kind of fresh out of college. He was only a year out.
I think
Okay.
university kids don't really know that this is a path that they can follow. Because I was one of those university kids. I had no idea about manufacturing and that I could do robotics like from within this industry and not like, humanoid robots. Like I could do robot arms that do stuff. And I think we need to focus on that more.
Yeah, I had an idea when I was a kid. My goal was to be a robotics engineer for NASA. That's what I wanted to do.
Nice.
But as I started getting into college, I started seeing, and my dad, like I had said before, I think earlier, my dad played an instrumental role in guiding me to where my knowledge and skills and abilities lied and to what would fulfill me that he saw that I like to do. And so as I got into school, I learned that, okay, I'm not quite the mathematician that I need to be a rocket scientist, robotics engineer. So I kind of tailored back my goals a little bit and was more interested in going into automation and robotics and stuff in factories. But I still had, until I was a senior in college and did PLCs in college, I had no idea that that kind of thing even existed.
Yeah.
I was more coming from the hard computer side of things and programming that way.
At one point, I
When did you get your
actually
first computer?
I got my first computer when I was about 10 years old. It was a TI 94A.
Oh shit!
And I
Oh
was
my
super
God.
fancy. I had the cassette, reader, and I had the speech module. So I was
wow.
the one that, even though my best friend had one, he'd come to my house because I
How much
had all
does
the
that
cool
cost?
stuff for it. Yeah.
Yeah, how
Sounds
much did that
expensive.
cost?
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
How much did
What was
that
the price
cost
of that?
when it was new?
All those modules,
I don't
voice
know if my dad
module.
paid for that, but
Yeah.
I got a lot of use out of that. That's where I learned how to do my first things like draw little graphics and make sound with computers and things like that.
That's amazing.
When did
Yeah.
Excel come out? Like when did
Oh,
spreadsheets
Excel. I
start?
think Excel came out in like 80 something because my dad had plus 1, 2, 3, and then he went to Excel. I remember in the 80s. Because he was actually using an Excel
Right on.
spreadsheet to import data from a Tenius Olson tensile tester machine. He was a metrology engineer,
Oh, nice.
and he automated all of his equipment to download all the data that it collected from the chart porter into the actual computer. And that was really my first foray
So
into
was
data
he an engineer? Or
collection.
what did he do?
He was a
What did your
metrology
dad do?
engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about your mom?
My mom was just a secretary, but she still, saw the outlets and saw what my father was doing and encouraged it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Metrology
Well, now you're
engineers
helping.
are amazing too,
Yeah.
because they have to know, you have to know mechanical engineering and machining.
Mechanical engineering, machining, so chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you worked with any students from mechatronics programs? Because I'm finding those are the only ones that actually know what we're really doing with a PLC. And they take motor classes and robot classes, and they take and they don't necessarily have engineering degrees. They get you can get an associates in mechatronics and just start doing something.
I think
Are you seeing that?
Yeah, I've seen that. I think the one guy that I've got doing controls and automation for me is actually a graduate of an associate's degree program. I don't think it was necessarily mechatronics, but I think it was automation engineering
cool.
of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he's a really sharp guy.
People aren't really, they don't know how cool it is. I think that's the problem. How do we show them how amazing it is to be able to figure that stuff out and make it run?
Right,
Because I think
exactly.
if they all knew that feeling, they would be like, oh my God, of course I want that job.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But we don't know how to
when I
sell
hire
it.
mechanics for me, when I give them the tour of the plant I work in right now, they always go, ooh, a robot. That is really cool. And I said, well, there's an opportunity to learn. And they're like, ooh, because I work at a really good place. The employer understands that technology is something that is continually changing, and you have to continually learn to stay abreast of the cutting edge technology. And so they make it a really good place for automation people and people into controls and programming to learn and stay abreast of the latest technology.
That's cool. What kind of applications do you have robots doing in your facility?
Well, we have a number of different things. We've got some injection molding machines that we have robots that are pick and place. They pick out and they place in front of inspection cameras and inspect the parts and then place them on the actual tiles. Because basically what happens is injection molding, you take a soft part that is injection molded and you send it back and you get it processed in a furnace.
Okay.
And so what the robot's doing is just placing those parts on tiles for placement inside the furnace to get hardened. And then we've got in the
You got
back, we got
furnaces. I want to go to your factory.
Yeah, so a furnace is basically a vacuum furnace in injection molding is used to do two things. One is it takes the wax that is a carrier for the metal to be able to be injected into a mold, takes that out.
Okay.
And then the other thing it does is it sinters the part, which makes it hard. Because when you injection mold metal, it's very soft. And so it has to be hardened in a vacuum furnace. And
What are
then
these
we
parts
have
for?
these parts we use for a variety of things. We're in the automotive industry. We're in medical.
So they do it a lot in
Sporting
automotive.
goods. Yeah, so a lot of various different things. We make parts for Leatherman. We actually make the rocker arms for the new Corvette. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we've got some processes in the back that are secondary to once the part is actually made. If there's a shape that maybe they couldn't get quite right, or a hole that they couldn't thread in the injection molding process, we have automation back there that we have 6 CNC machines, and we have some sizing machines, some punch presses and sizing presses that I have my guy that's automated several of them so that they can load the parts automatically and size them and then unload them and inspect them.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You're doing all of it.
Yeah, we're doing everything. Quite a bit of stuff. We have a variety of different processes.
Is there a lot of Allen Bradley going on?
Yeah, we use 2 different main controllers. We use Siemens automation on our furnaces, and we use Allen Bradley's in the back in secondary operations area where they have like automation that's been hooked up to a CNC equipment or something that's been developed in-house. That's all using Allen Bradley.
Okay. Where do the furnaces come from? Is it a European company?
No, actually, they're American-made furnaces.
Oh, using Siemens, huh?
Yeah, and one of the furnaces is actually made in Portland. It's a manufacturer in Portland, Oregon, which is not too far from the actual factory that I work for.
How far are you?
Sorry, what was that?
How far are you from Portland?
I live about 30 minutes from Portland, and I work just right outside of Portland in Wilsonville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be that far for you to go.
How many people work there? Yeah, I want to come see it. Can I come see it? Do you do tours?
Yeah. Oh, totally. We totally give tours. We want people interested, and we want people knowing what we do. Because we have processes that are unique to the metal injection molding industry, and they give us an advantage. And we like to tout that. So the GM is very open to letting people have tours and come see what we do, especially with the trouble we have getting qualified mechanics and automation people.
Yeah, we got to get the word out then.
I'm going to drive the Kids PLC kit down to you and then come see your factory.
Okay, we'll do it.
And then I'll meet you there.
Let's do it in February or March.
Drive down. It's halfway between us.
Okay.
You guys are making me jealous, but I'll leave you to it over there on the West Coast.
I was jealous of you guys in Texas this week. So.
No, totally. Yeah,
that process training unit was really cool.
Yeah,
it will be cool. I'll see you maybe either February or March, early March.
Okay.
Before I move, because I'm probably moving. I'm not probably moving. I am moving.
Where are you moving to?
I'm gonna go be across the street from Nikki in Houston.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try my luck at oil and gas.
I've lured her down here for some time anyway, for the next season.
Yeah, the next season of life, because I do want to come back to the Pacific Northwest. I think it's a really beautiful place. And I mean, that's why I wanted to be there, because it's the closest thing to Hawaii that you can find, or that I could find in the, mainland US.
Sure.
So it's just really, really beautiful. Yeah, I think I need to go make some money. So I'm going to go do that, and then I'll come back.
I understand how that goes.
Have
So
you
that's
always
kind of
been
my
in the
current
Portland
plan
area?
right now.
Automotive industry, or what other industries have you served before automotive?
You said medical?
Yeah, we do medical. We do medical parts. We do sporting good parts. We make a lot of gun parts,
Nice.
knife parts. We make parts for Leatherman, Gerber, that kind of thing. So if you got
Very
a
cool.
Leatherman or a Gerber multi-tool on you, you probably got something that has come from my factory in it.
Oh, cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Before you worked in this factory, you've had some other experiences in different types of plants, right? What other stuff have you worked on in your career?
Yeah, the first place I worked right out of college was a little motorhome manufacturer, and I was actually hired to automate their processes because I had the CNC training in college, and so it was a small town, middle farm field, and they made motorhomes out of this little rickety building, and I just happened to send my resume in because I knew that they had hired somebody from OIT where I went to college before. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll get in as a mechanical engineer. And lo and behold, they had this automation position open and I got hired for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you never
it's
went
pretty
back
cool.
to mechanical engineering. You kind of stayed in automation, didn't you?
Yeah, I kind of did stay in automation all the way. I went from there. I went to factory automation, working for a Korean company, Hyundai Semiconductor. They decided to try their hand at avoiding tariffs. And so they opened a plant up in the United States, and I worked for them, helping them from the ground up. I came in basically when it was a slab of concrete.
Oh, wow. Okay. So
Yeah, so I was there for the whole factory getting built and all that stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got to see all kinds of things like Daifuku Automation Robotics, and I got to work with the department that I was part of. We were in charge of all the data collection connections to all the computers and all the controls and automation that automated the processes. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with the way that the Koreans work, but the Koreans will buy a whole bunch of equipment and they'll have interfaces made by the manufacturer for the equipment, but then they make all the software that interfaces between those systems.
Okay.
So I got a lot of experience doing sex gem communications protocol that's used in semiconductor industry. A lot of experience doing Visual Basic programming and automation, data collection, and displaying real-time data through Visual Basic, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when you were part of it from day one, did you get to be involved in like the infrastructure of the building and saying, I want to drop over here and I want an outlet there, and getting to kind of design what it's going to look like in the future?
Yeah, well, the way the Koreans designed the facility, they basically had everything laid out and they said, this is going to be an exact copy of our fab over in Korea.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have the exact same tools. We're going to have the exact same layout, everything. But as you probably know, technology moves so fast that by the time that this facility got to the point where they could put tools into it and have tools built to be put into it, the technology had changed so much that there was this, and the fab wasn't laid out exactly the same. It was a little bit different. It wasn't like some piece of equipment, for example, they had subfab that they would have equipment in the United States. Well, in Korea, they don't have subfabs. They have all the facilities right behind the tool. And so there was changes that need to be made for that. So we had to go through. I was responsible for basically taking their designs and saying, okay, here's what we need to make factory automation work with this plant, and helping them understand those differences. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Is that fab still operating, if you know?
No, that factory actually closed. The Koreans, it was built in the city of Eugene, down in the Mid-Willamette Valley of Oregon. And if you know anything about Eugene, Eugene doesn't really like, well, they like people, but they don't like employed people for some reason. And they worked really hard to squash the Koreans' idea of 4 factories. They wanted to have 4 factories there. And they squashed 3 of them. And then Korea decided, okay, we only need 1, really, anyway. And then they started having some problems with getting their new technology. About 5 years into the plant's operation, getting the new technology running with the equipment they had. And so they actually ended up closing it because they weren't making the money savings in the tariffs that they thought they would.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how all this plays out with all the new fabs that are being built in the US right now because of that CHIP Act that we had. Because it's gonna take a while longer still for them to come online, and then who knows, how much the game has changed by the time they're operational.
Yeah, it's quite a bit different nowadays. But the semiconductor industry I found is one where people tend to hold on to equipment longer than they probably should.
Okay.
And so my husband's made a good living, and he's actually in Texas right now working on old semiconductor equipment.
Oh.
So there's a lot of fabs with a lot of stuff from 1990 to roughly 1995. And that's where that CHIPS Act actually came into play a lot, is getting these new fabs built with the newer equipment and the newer technologies so that the U.S. can be competitive and have some more up-to-date technology manufacturing here in the United States.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Sorry, Allie. Courtney dropped off there. Give me a minute. I have my kids are.
Yeah, no, I'll keep talking. So what about what happened? So what about other international companies besides Korean companies? Like I've worked for the Germans.
Companies. I worked for the Japanese too for a while.
Oh.
I worked at Epson.
How was that? How was that compared to the Koreans?
Actually, it was pretty similar.
Because they have their own style too.
Yeah, they do have their own style, and they were a lot more data driven than the Koreans were. As far as making decisions, they would collect a ton of data, do a ton of analysis, and then say, okay, let's do this. The Koreans would collect the data. Yeah, the Koreans would more collect the data, display it, and say, here's what we've got for the engineers to work with, and let the engineers in other departments make decisions. But the automation people made a lot of decisions in the comparing Koreans to Japanese. The Japanese automation people didn't make as many decisions with their data. They just more provided it to people.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess not how do you feel, but like since you in your career, when did you start hearing the word digital transformation or industry 4.0?
I think I started hearing that mostly when I did my stint at Amazon 6 years ago. I started hearing that word a lot. Yeah.
They are the kings of data.
Yeah, they totally are. They have.
What did you do at Amazon?
I was an automation supervisor manager. I managed a shift of robotics engineers and mechanics that took care of all the conveyors and all the robots that moved the pods around and all the products that they had.
So is that in one of their distribution facilities?
Yeah, that was one of the distribution facilities here in the east side of the Portland area, Troutdale.
Were you born in Oregon?
Yeah.
Okay. Are your
Are there a
parents from
lot of
Oregon?
similarities or differences between like logistics and material handling and the other types of automation that you've worked with?
Yeah, the differences I noticed between logistics and the automation in manufacturing is that when you're automating something, you have to understand process control really well, because your automation is only as good as your understanding of what you're automating. It doesn't take much knowledge to understand, move this box of crayons from point A to point B on the robot and take it out of the pod and put it in a container and send it on its way to be packaged and shipped out. So
Less complex.
manufacturing is a lot more complex.
Yeah.
Definitely. People don't really understand how much you have to basically put yourself in the process engineer's shoes if you're going to do automation in manufacturing.
It's always helped me.
Yeah, I've seen that. I follow you pretty closely on LinkedIn and see that your process engineering has definitely served you well. That's
People
kind of the
people said
reason-
like, "Oh, you didn't end up doing what you studied," and I'm like, "Actually, I did."
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, it's so much. People don't realize how much automation goes hand in hand with process engineering. Yeah, really. That's one of the reasons why when I was
Even
going to
PNIDs,
school,
like you can't do PNIDs without a chemical engineer, but they also do
Right.
understand like that there's analog signals and that there's so that they can do the PNIDs right.
Yep, exactly. And like for my example, you can't just go, oh, hey, I found a screen today that shows me how to change the PIDs for my temperature controls.
Oh God.
And start punching in numbers and just changing it and have no idea what you're doing. Because technically
God.
we can melt down a furnace with our automation. We've got that much control of it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I said every person that I hire that does automation for me goes through an automation training session with the process engineers in each area. I really make sure that they get that knowledge so that they
That's
understand that the numbers are set the way they are and have to be the certain things have to work a certain way for a reason, and what they're trying to achieve with those numbers and data and the way things have been programmed to run.
That's really cool. I like that you do that.
Yeah. I mean, I wish more people understood, and I guess I'm just lucky because my dad would take me to work with him on Sundays when there were fewer people at work and show me around and show me what people did. And I got that understanding of, oh, to be a machinist, you have to, or to be a mechanical engineer, you have to understand what the machinists, the people that are going to make your parts, do and what their limitations are and what their constraints are. Because you could design the greatest thing in the world, but if it can't be manufactured, what kind of engineer are you? So I got that understanding of how different job disciplines marry together to make things work.
There are no silos. I always thought that. I said chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, and electrical engineering are basically married, like one giant couple. Because like, how do you build any of these things without a little bit of overlap with all of those?
Exactly. And it's like me. I worked my way up from being a technician to being a supervisor to being now the manager. And I tell my people, I understand what they're doing. And that gives them the confidence that they know that they've got somebody guiding them in a direction that is going to be successful for them. I don't think many people
what can
have
we
that
do to
vision.
get people to understand it?
Yeah.
You just got to take them
I
with
don't
you
know.
while it's broken and fix it in front of them. Make them fix it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a couple of community college instructors on LinkedIn that are doing some good things with automation. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, but there's one guy that has
Danny Murphy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. He's doing some really great work, but I don't think people are seeing it, or I don't even think, because I got a hold of him and tried to get him to push my position when I had my 2 process automation positions open. I tried to get him to get some of his people interested, and I got 0 response from him. I don't think they understood that manufacturing and working in maintenance actually is automation, and that you do
That's a
automation.
huge way in. I try to tell people that, because they're like, there's a lot of ways that you could at least start touching a robot and touching a PLC, and that's, once you start playing with it, that's your that's your in. And then you can say, I have worked with this platform or this type of brand or this type of process, and it all goes from there. But you have to get in somehow, and that's a really, really good way in for everybody listening, either now or in the future. Maintenance, factory maintenance job is a amazing way to learn how machines work. Automation.
Yeah, it is totally. Yeah, I would encourage
And you're going to
anybody
fix it
trying
all.
to get
So you're a hero. You're
I
a
try
hero,
to
but you're
encourage
also like
people-
the end of the line, so you never get to sleep.
Yeah, I get to sleep. I do pretty good. I've been lucky to have 2 good process control automation people for me that they allow me to sleep at night. So for the most part, I've got some of those people that, like you said, have been figured out that, oh, hey, maintenance is an inroad to automation, and they're just starting to get their feet wet. And I get some calls at night saying, this is doing this, I don't understand. And it's really something simple. And you go, I can't believe they're asking me this question, but
because they get scared, right? They don't know what to be afraid of.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember the days I'm like, I don't know if I should I be terrified right now? I don't know. Like, I definitely remember those days, because like I remember being in meetings in my first engineering job ever, and just listening and being like, I have no idea what anyone is talking about, because they're talking about the equipment, they're talking about contractors, they're talking about problems that happen, or they got to buy stuff, they got to do POs and vendors, and I was just like, they told me how to make a pipe a certain size based on flow. Like, they didn't teach me like all the rest of this. Like, feel like they need to get, I do wish that they would do a lot more in terms of like helping engineers and technicians learn how to buy stuff. Like, how do companies buy stuff from other companies? Because that's an integral thing.
Oh, I know. I spend a fair amount of my day just answering requests from my people saying, the process engineer is telling me he wants to do this. I don't have anything to do that. You need to help me get from this is my vision for it to parts in my hand. So I spend a fair amount of my day just looking up vendors and buying parts and filling orders. I mean, when I first started at my current job at OptiMIM, the GM at the time said, oh, I'm going to hire a buyer. I said, no, I don't want a buyer. Because I've been for a month buying my own parts.
Someone tells them what to buy.
I can tell them what to buy, but they may go, oh, hey, look, this says it's the same thing.
Yeah,
I can get it for 50% cheaper over here. And they don't understand that it's not the same thing.
Yep. They're like, oh, a relay. I can buy you a relay. You're like, oh, no, we're not doing this. Like, like, no.
Yep.
Let's just stop this right now.
I heard
I've definitely seen that
story about a buyer that bought custom conveyor belts by mistake. And it was like, instead of it being like, $1,000 or $2,000 worth of conveyor belt, the person didn't think to raise an eyebrow at a $15,000 bill on this like custom width conveyor stuff that they were ordering, and could not return because it was a custom made thing.
Oh my God.
$15,000. Oops, I didn't know what
salesperson's kind of mean.
That number didn't even seem wrong to me. That's been my nightmare buyer story, when you get somebody that's, you just get stuff to buy and they just buy it without question.
Yep. Yep.
Have you tried to teach that? Like how to buy stuff? Because like I don't even know how I would start.
Well, basically, where I start is I tell my people, look on the internet. You know, when I'm working with people, I'll tell them, look on the internet, look for things that look interesting, look like they might be it. And then I'll use my engineering background to tell you whether that's going to do it or not. If you don't understand, and I'll explain to them how it works, how it doesn't work, and what they're looking at will make the parts function, form, and fit. So I spend a lot of time not only buying parts, dealing with vendors, fixing things myself when my people go, I just don't know what it is. Can you help me? You know, because you've been a technician before, and explaining and teaching people things.
Awesome.
Because there is so much that you have to know to be in automation. And it's one of those things of where you constantly
never ends.
Yeah, exactly. You never stop learning. Especially
It
if
might
you're
be
going
my
to keep
favorite
your
part.
employer competitive, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We all got to
Funny
change
thing
with the
is,
times.
investing resources in this teaching does not make things go faster. Like management thinks throwing more bodies at something makes it go faster a lot of times, and it's like these people
I
need to be
know.
brought up to speed.
I know. I've had that
Invest time
before.
into people.
I had my boss say the other day, well, if we automate it, we should be able to cut the cycle time in half. And I said, yeah, let's do the math on it and figure it out and see if that's true or not. And he just off the cuff said he'll cut it in half.
Did you end up checking that out? And was it anywhere close to half?
Yeah, it was close, but not as close as he thought it would be. It was within about 10%.
Not bad.
But you know,
Gut math.
yeah. Also, GM does is pulls out his calculator and goes, I see 60% more income on that one part. Excellent. Approved.
Approved.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got pretty good GM and boss that work for me, the number one, number two guys in the company. They understand that it takes money to make money, and it takes educated people to stay competitive. And so they really back me in everything that I try to do
That's great.
to keep my people educated, skilled, and keep the factory running and what I want to do.
That
sounds
their
pretty unique.
great company culture.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is by far, OptiMIM is by far the best place I've ever worked. I mean, it's night and day different to some places that I've worked. Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's really important
That's great.
right now, especially to highlight those companies where you can say that genuinely about your
Yes.
experience.
Yeah.
And pretty cool that you guys, obviously you're in the position where you have capacity, you're producing parts for your customer. So your competitive advantage is something that you want to advertise.
Yep.
Some people, some companies, right? They think that whatever the competitive advantage they have is the secret, which is hard then to know what is actually out there in terms of culture and the types of technologies that people are working on. It's not a lot of transparency in our industry, but it's refreshing to be able to see and hear a company that not only, has a good culture, cares about investing in their people, and investing in their process and their automation, right? And then is
absolutely.
able to show that. So we're pretty excited to be able to hopefully send the ladies out to check out and do a little bit of a facility tour. Help you guys get the word out there, because I think,
I'm coming.
ladies, if you agree with me, yeah, one of the things that we really care about in doing the show is having these different voices and hearing the different stories, but also being able to then hear, okay, what are the good companies out there in this industry? Whether that's from the customer side of the automation, being the plants, the facilities, or the automation companies that people work for. Because it's, I think, unfortunate we don't have enough talent in this industry. And then sometimes we get the talent and we kind of push them away because we don't prioritize being a great work environment.
That's the bigger tragedy, is like turning them away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
After they had some interest, they're like, never mind.
Yeah. Why would I want to put up with this, right? Like, the job sounds cool, but this, whatever it is, the environment, the culture, it sucks. So we're almost out of time here. I would love to, I guess, Nicole, if there's anything that we haven't talked about that you'd love to, mention or want to make sure that we discuss, now is the chance. Otherwise, I'll ask you our last question, and same thing goes for you ladies. Any burning questions you guys still have? I'm going to kick us out of here so I can get back to work and then try to get some Christmas decorating done with the kids.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I got the rest of the year
next
off.
Week, you guys. Can you even
Really?
believe it? Like, I feel like this year went by so fast.
Yeah, I feel like it did too. Even though it felt like an eternity trying to hire a process controls and automation technician.
How long did it take you?
Did that take you a lot of months?
Put out the requisition to actually getting.
It took me 9 months to find somebody, and I probably did close to 50 interviews.
Ooh.
Oh wow!
And like I said, I test people.
Yeah.
And I don't let my tests usually tell people what my tests are. It's usually like I'll tell the staffing agency that sent the person over, they failed the tests I had miserably. And they say, well, tell us what the tests are. Then they'll pass them when you come. It's like, that's not the point. The point is to find somebody who, off the cuff, knows the simple stuff and has skills that I can work with to train. I don't even want somebody that's, been in the industry 20 years and has all the experience in the world. I'll just take somebody that's trainable.
And people know it all anyway, all the right stuff. Even if they have that 20 years of experience in the industry, it's not going to be the exact same stuff you've got in your plant. It's not going to be the process that you're going to need to implement tomorrow. So that continuous learning is really probably one of the biggest skills that we need in our industry, right? Adaptability and the ability to continue to learn.
Yep. Absolutely.
Aptitude and attitude, as our good friend David Garcia says. Thank you. Hi, David. Good to see you. And we got Jason Jones over here as well. You stop learning, it's time to step out. Exactly.
Yeah, it is, really.
I guess that's retirement, right? Then you can be like, okay, I'm done. Happy retirement to Jack over at Phoenix Contact, by the way. I saw that on LinkedIn today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then our last question, Dr. Nicole, is if you would like people to be able to connect with you, if they're interested in, learning more about your employer or just to follow you on LinkedIn and what you're doing, where should people go to find out about you or your company, or any other links or anything else that you want to advertise to our audience or let them know?
Well, they can always look at my LinkedIn profile. That's got a lot of information on it.
Yeah, you're pretty active.
Yeah, and the place I work is OptiMIM, OptiMIM, and go to their website, look and see what they do. They've got pretty unique set of processes and skills and people, and it's a great place to work.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I think you're our last guest before the holidays. In fact, our last guest of this season and this year. So, and I know it was a long time coming to finally get you on the show. We had to reschedule a couple times. So, for me anyway, a perfect way to cap off the year to finally have you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, glad to do it. It was fun. And I look forward to giving you the tour. I'm going to hold you to it.
Oh, please do. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Okay, everybody, audience, watch out for a factory tour of OptiMIM from the Automation Ladies sometime in 2025. And if we don't talk to you, I guess we'll see everybody next year. You can definitely hit us up on LinkedIn anytime. Send us messages or send a voice message through our website, automationladies.io. I think we're going to take a little break for the holidays, but we will be back in January. I think we already have a live scheduled January 8th, at least myself, with some of our friends that are going to be meeting us in Austin for the Industrial Marketing Summit. But we've got lots and lots of cool stuff coming for you next year, different types of content, different events that we're going to be at. We're trying to do a little bit more divide and conquer. So you may not see all of us ladies together all of the time, but like we do with the show, the promise is you get at least one. most of the time. So thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for being part of this community. It's not about us, it's about you. So please also make friends with the other people that showed up today in the comments. You guys have this in common. You care, you're interested in industrial automation and the related topics. And thank you so much for being part of this, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.